Well guys, this is Attorney Bilal Khalik. I'm based here in Dallas, Texas. And today we're going to be discussing the L1A visa. And we've discussed the E2 visa and we've discussed the asylum process. E2 visa was very specific to certain countries. You have to have a treaty with the United States to be eligible for the E2 visa. L1A visa is available to everybody, no matter what country you're from, but the requirements are a little bit different. So this is what you need to do to qualify for an L1A visa. First of all, you have to be a businessman or an executive in your own country. So you have to show that for at least 1 year prior to your filing for the L1A application, you were either an owner or a high-ranking executive in a firm overseas. Could be any country. Could be in India. Could be in Pakistan. And then you have the intention of opening up a branch office in the US. Now, the branch office is going to be a brand new company. The only restriction is that the majority of the shares of the branch office in the US have to be owned by the foreign company. So let me give you an example. Let's say that you have a successful company selling typewriters, back home, let's say in India. And at some point, you would like to expand your operations into the US. So you start a brand new company, call it ABC. It doesn't have to have the same name as your Indian company, but the shares of ABC, at least 51% of them have to be owned by the company in India. Number two, you get a lease because you have to have a physical office. And number three, you have to have a business plan to tell the US government what are you going to do. The nice thing about the L1A is that you don't have to be in the same business that you were back home. So if you're selling typewriters, if you open up a shop here selling typewriters, you might not do very well because the technology is obsolete. But as long as the ownership is there, you can branch into a different business. You can have a restaurant, you can even have a laundromat, a gas station, or a factory, and it could be a different business. Once you apply for the L1A and you get qualified, it's good for 1 year. Your spouse gets the L2, which allows you to get a work permit, and then your kids also get an L2 under 21 and go to school here. The best thing about the L1A that I like is that at some point, if you do everything correctly and you have a successful business, it can become a green card. So as your branch office, prospers and you hire more employees and you make more profit, at some point you can actually apply for a green card. And that category is called EB1C. Okay, so L1A visa again is available for anybody from any country, and the only requirement is you have to be in business in your country for at least 1 year. However, please note that to prove to the US government that you're a successful businessman overseas, you have to have proper documentation. I've met a lot of people, with all due respect to everybody that's overseas, that have very, very good business, but the documentation is very poor. There's no proper tax returns, no proper bank statements, no employee payroll records. So it's very hard to prove on paper that you're a successful businessman. So as long as you've got a good business overseas on paper for at least 1 year, let's talk about L1A. Thank you very much for tuning in. Again, this is Attorney Bilal Khalik, and our website is boldlegal.com. Our phone number is 214-453-2500.